Hey, look which one I got. Look what I got.
Here, Elizabeth, go choose a pretty color that you like.
Welcome to Watch Like a Kid.
A podcast where we watch your kid shows so you don't have to.
We are your hosts, Diane and Gabriele.
So come, be a kid with us. Hi, Gabby.
Hi, Diane.
Welcome to Watch Like a Kid. Gabby, I was thinking, I need a vacation.
Bet.
Summer's kind of over. We're slowly going to start losing this lovely hot summer we've been
so
having.
beautiful.
That we just this 95 degrees in New York City with all the concrete surrounding us, just
No AC.
and the beautiful scent that comes out in the city. I mean, it's just we're gonna miss it greatly when it ends. But I feel like I need to get out of the city.
Where do you want to go?
I was thinking somewhere a little more tropical today.
Okay.
I was thinking, a trip down under. Maybe
Like Australia?
maybe a little better than that. I was thinking more like Bikini Bottom.
I'm ready.
That was perfect. If you guys are listening, not watching, I asked Gabby today to wear yellow. And then she kind of knew that I was doing SpongeBob, and so she figured, okay, I'm SpongeBob. But then I walked out wearing purple, and now she's thoroughly confused.
Yeah, I don't really know who's purple in SpongeBob.
So this isn't a movie about SpongeBob.
Oh.
SpongeBob's in it,
Okay.
if we can say he's in it. Not.
Is he not? I'm wearing yellow. Come on.
Well, it's not about you, Gabby.
Well, then why can't I wear purple? I can be the purple person.
No. Because the purple person is Sandy Cheeks. Because today we are covering Saving Bikini Bottom, the Sandy Cheeks movie. Right? I think I said that right. Yes, so this movie just came out on Netflix recently. I don't know about you, but I grew up kind of watching SpongeBob. Not a lot, but I've seen like all the iconic episodes, plus like enough to say I know all about SpongeBob. But I was never a diehard fan. How about you?
I have maybe seen... Okay, funny. I have seen one full episode of SpongeBob.
Okay.
And it is the one where Miss Sandy invites SpongeBob and Patrick to her home.
Oh, yes.
And then he's like drying out.
He's drying out.
Sponge is like, what? And it was really traumatizing for me, and I never watched another episode after that.
Oh my god, really?
I did not. Me as a kid, I was very sensitive. All right, SpongeBob was sensory overload for me, and then that episode just really sealed the deal of like, I can't handle this. I can't handle the show. I'm too faint of heart.
See, my sister controlled the remote. Any of you parents or caregivers watching who have siblings, I was the youngest. And so I still don't have control over the remote, even when I go home at Christmas. My sisters control the remote, and one of my sisters absolutely hated SpongeBob. It annoyed her. She could not stand it.
Am I your sister?
Honestly, same wavelength going on over here. And so I only watched a little bit of it. I do remember, though, oddly enough, as a kid, there used to be, in the summer times, free kids movies.
At theaters?
Yes.
Oh.
At our one kind of smallish town theater.
Wow.
It was a Regal, not an AMC.
Of course, because
I never even heard of AMC
no
until
offense
college.
AMC, but
yeah.
your capitalistic butt would never.
Could never.
offer those free movies.
And it wasn't even like, it wasn't like new movies. They would play like a bunch of random older movies, short movies, stuff like that, like Nickelodeon, a couple like Disney movies. But there would be like one or two free ones every like day throughout the week.
Okay.
And honestly, my mom would pack a bag full of snacks because she ain't paying for snacks.
No.
And they would, and just like in a little backpack because they're not going to stop kids. This was in the era where they stopped everyone to be like, what's in your bag? You can't bring like food or drinks in when like movie theaters like had that big crackdown.
Yeah, back when they like cared enough, and
They
now
cared.
no one
You
gets
could
paid enough for that.
You bring a fried chicken into...
One time I brought an entire Chinese takeout into the movie theater. To be fair, I know that's rude on so many levels. I apologize to the people who had to smell my food while watching that movie.
But did you eat it?
Yes. I hadn't had time to eat. I was so hungry. I mean, there was a guy in the movie theater vaping. It smelled like bubble gum. I wanted to kick him out.
I would
so
rather
bad.
sit next to someone that's got Chinese food.
Same.
I'd be like, hey, you got an extra egg roll for me? Like,
I would have offered.
I won't tell anybody if you give me one. Anyway, I remember going one day to watch, I think it was like the first SpongeBob movie.
Okay.
I don't remember much about it. All I know is
Did
that
your sister go with you?
I think we all 3 went.
Why?
I
mean, I know
know
it's free, but if y'all already hate SpongeBob.
I think it was like a good excuse because my mom would pack like the sugariest of sodas, like pack like straight Coca-Cola and like gummies and Oreos, and then she would just drop us off in air conditioning for like an hour and a half, be like, watch your sister. I think I was maybe like 8 or 9, you know, and my sisters are older than me, and so we'd just go in and then come back out, and it was, I love coming out of a movie theater when it's still bright outside.
Oh my gosh.
Because you're in this like world, a whole different world, and you come back out, you're like, oh my god. And half the time my mom would like pick us up and take us out for ices or ice cream after.
Dang.
So it was like a whole affair, but I don't even know where she went or what she did. I think she went to run errands because it was like in town, like where all of the stores were, and we lived like on the other side of town. Yeah. And so I think she was just like, I don't want to have to deal with 3 children in the department store.
And it's free.
Yeah.
Free babysitting, man.
Bring it back.
I mean, come on.
We could never these days, but bring it back.
Bring it back.
Bring it back. This is... I loved it, but I don't remember any other movie besides the SpongeBob movie, but I remember specifically I saw that one.
Okay.
So I was kind of having mixed emotions watching this one.
Oh, no.
Because when you grow up with, like, the OG SpongeBob...
Right.
you kind of want to, like, feel kind of, like, entitled a bit.
Okay.
Like, I was
like
feeling
you were like, I own SpongeBob.
I own SpongeBob.
Okay.
This one's for the millennials. Because, I mean, you can watch, because they still have SpongeBob. They still have episodes. You can watch it, but it's like, the animation is different, and then also, like, the story and just the vibes are so different than the original ones from way back when. And I mean, it's still like the same voice actors and everything, which is great.
Oh, wow.
But, yeah, or at least for the movie.
It's been like 30 years. I'm surprised they're still kicking. Sorry. I don't know where that came from.
SpongeBob.
I'm sorry.
SpongeBob.
I just want to know how old they are.
Patrick. I think they're like maybe like in their 60s now.
Yeah.
50s, 60s. So like it's not like they were.
I mean, they're not decrepit, but like it's been going on for a long time.
Well, it's not like
the show is very old.
Oh yes, but he that's like a performance voice. That's not like some real person is walking around. Like,
no, I know, but if it's the same voice actors, like, wow.
Yeah.
Like,
consistent paycheck for that long.
Oh my gosh, the stability of it all.
Never, honestly, I would.
Like, what a jackpot.
I would do the show for forever.
Same.
Because you have one iconic voice, that's it.
Oh my goodness.
That's all you need.
Actually, I think I saw a video of them doing a table read, and they are old now.
Yes.
Not that it's bad to be old.
We're so glad you're still alive. I don't even know where I was going.
No, I understand because if like they didn't like I could never watch the new Rugrats because I would be like,
I was judging
this, you know.
So I will say, if you want to watch it because you grew up with SpongeBob and you're a SpongeBob fan and you want your kid to love SpongeBob as much as you did, this is not our SpongeBob.
Nacho Mama SpongeBob.
This is Nacho Mama SpongeBob. This is... I don't even know if it can be SpongeBob. Maybe that's why it's about Sandy. Because I don't even... It didn't even look like SpongeBob, for one. Man. Let's start with the animation itself. I mean, I love making updates and improvements. You know, the color, Bikini Bottom was, like, very similar and iconic, but yet Mr. Krabs kind of scared me. The way he was animated and everything.
Oh, I can kind of already
kinda
see it in my mind. I can see how they could take it.
SpongeBob, was like the wrong shade of yellow. He was more Swiss cheese than he was sponge.
Oh.
Yeah.
Like he was really pale?
Kind of, like, washed out.
Oh.
And then, like, the circly sponges just weren't there in the face, just, like, on the sides. I'm sorry, I'm being very particular, but...
Cheese Bob.
It's... And there's actually a point in the movie where he's like, hey, is this a piece of Swiss cheese? He's like, I'm actually a sponge.
Oh, so they, like, had a laugh about it.
Had a laugh about it.
Okay.
But I also feel like as a whole, the essence of SpongeBob wasn't there. Like, his character just seemed... And it's been a while since I've watched the shows. But he was giving off Patrick vibes more so.
How? Was he just, like, really, like, toned down?
Yeah, he was toned down, really, like, extra dumb and, like, clunky and along for the ride kind of thing. And then all he really did was just go, oh, yeah, let's go, Sandy. Like...
I know what happened. All the people who were like, me and your sister... We must have been on the internet somewhere having powwows about how annoying SpongeBob is, and all the writers must have been like, they hate this guy. We gotta tone him down.
And they did.
And they did.
They did. They toned him down a lot, and then they made Patrick just extra dumb.
Aww.
Like, he was always like a cute, endearing kind of dumb, like just kind of missing
a
little something up there.
Yeah.
This one was just kind of like stupid dumb.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
So was Sandy different too?
Sandy seemed the same.
Okay.
Or similar, which is great because she's our main character.
Mm-hmm.
And so basically the premise of it is that it opens right up with a musical number.
Oh, it's a musical, say less.
No, it's not.
Oh.
She just opens up with a musical number. I'm telling you, this movie was a roller coaster for me. I'm not gonna lie. There's a musical number at the beginning and at the end. The ending one, it kind of slaps.
Is it better than F is for friends who do stuff
No,
together?
nothing could beat that. Nothing could beat that.
As someone who like never seen SpongeBob, even I know that song.
Nothing could beat that. A Plankton's version of that is that is the only thing that might be able to beat it.
Okay.
Even Plankton was kind of weird in this movie. He looked more like a pickle.
I think maybe the animators were really hungry.
The animators were really they were trying to make a sandwich.
You know when they have the Krabby Patty gummies?
I should have
They
got
were
some.
like,
Do they even make those anymore?
They better.
Oh my god.
We're gonna find them.
If you guys please.
We need a Walmart. That's what we need.
We need a Walmart.
New York, a petition to Walmart to come to New York City, please.
Like one of those, just like a tiny Walmart.
Yeah, we can, like, the Targets here suck. So we can have, like, a half-baked Walmart. That's fine.
Easily.
And then, but just make sure you sell the little Krabby Patty candies.
And if you guys are anywhere near New York and you want to just come bring us some, that works too.
Yeah, we'll just meet up. You just let us know where you want to go.
We'll meet you at a skeevy entrance to Central Park or something.
Oh, yeah. At like night.
And we'll do a swap.
Yeah.
And by swap, I mean you just give us the Krabby Patty.
And we give you a smile.
Give us the Krabby Patty formula. We're Plankton now. But in the form of the gummies.
So what's the premise? So she opens up with a musical number.
She opens up with a musical number being like, I'm from Texas, but I love my bikini bottom, and I got my friends, but I also got science.
Science?
Science, because Sandy is a scientist.
Was that always the case?
Yeah, she's been studying Bikini Bottom for the last 30 years, you know?
Okay.
So...
Oh! Wow, that makes so much sense why she's there. Because not me having only seen one episode of SpongeBob being like, what's a squirrel doing here? I thought it was just kid math. But now I get it. She
left Texas
to study the under the sea.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, what a fun little like, you know, origin story. Oh, cute. Okay.
I know, right?
They should have done that movie, like her like on land and then realizing that she wants to study the ocean and then going to Bikini Bottom for the first time. That would have been kind of cute.
Oh, we'll just wait.
Is that the movie?
Well, it's that, but in reverse, Gabby.
How does that work?
Well, after her musical number about opening up, they're in Bikini Bottom, she's got friends, whatever, suddenly there's, like, this claw machine sort of thing, or, like, you know, like, construction... What's it called? It's, like, the thing that digs the dirt up.
Yes.
But, like, in a claw version. So it basically comes down, which doesn't make much sense to me because they're supposed to be at the bottom of the ocean. But it like
Kidnap.
it comes down and it basically picks up all of Bikini Bottom, and there's just this like square left.
No.
Everybody but SpongeBob and Sandy. Even Gary is just like Gary looks the same. I'll give him that. Gary was on point for this movie, which isn't hard to do because all he does is meow. Low bar. Suddenly Sandy is like, I can do this. We can go fix them. They're going up and they're going up outside of the ocean. We can if I and so she just takes this like marker out of nowhere and starts like drawing in the water of X equals Y times 2 minus pi at the fries. Like she can launch them somehow above water.
Okay. She's gonna science her way out of
this. Yes.
Like the Martian.
Yes, and so SpongeBob kind of becomes her sidekick.
Okay.
And it's funny because he will be like, how are we gonna do that? Like, it's kind of like almost like a Dora moment where he just kept asking questions like that, where he'd be like, oh, that's funny, wait. And then he'd look at the camera being like, we're gonna do what?
He would look at
He
the
would
camera?
kind of break the fourth wall. I swear he broke the fourth wall like 2 or 3 times.
Y'all already know how we feel about Dora. If you've been listening to us, you already know how we feel about Dora.
That was kind of what I was getting. Like, I was like, why does he just keep asking, like, the most blatant questions?
Okay.
And he'd just be like, oh, how are we going to do that, Sandy? Like, prompting her to, like, continue.
Yeah.
So they find this, I don't even know, like a manhole, but in the ocean, like this swarm of air popping up, like an air bubble type thing.
Okay.
And so they get these, like, clams and jump on them like they're surfboards, and they basically like ride it up.
Okay.
They float up to the top. Of course, SpongeBob is like a klutz and like falls and is like facing the wrong way, and Sandy fixes him or whatever. They get above, and then she says after if they can launch themselves up far enough into the air outside of the ocean, then they can catch the like 2:47 flight to Galveston.
I was totally being like, they're catching the train. When it's like he's at 2:47, I'm like, oh, we're taking the train.
They're catching the flight. In my mind, I thought that meant they would go to an airport. No, they literally launch themselves into the air, and while they're in the sky, a plane comes by.
Well, that's what I thought, because this is kid math.
This is kid math, and so so they're sitting on the wings of a plane, and SpongeBob is like, wow, I didn't know you could do this. And in my mind, I'm like, a squirrel can and a sponge cannot stick to the side of the plane.
On. Is this lore different? Because in the one episode of SpongeBob that I watched, when the sponge was out of the water, it did not go well.
Well, Gabby, I have a solution for that. Actually, I do not have a solution. Sandy has a solution.
Oh, good. Science your way out of this.
She scienced her way out of this. She actually invented a bottle concoction thing that she can spray onto SpongeBob, and it re-inflates him. It gives him like water, like he absorbs it, and he's good for a few hours. So every now and then in the movie, he'd start to wilt, and she'd just go shh, and it was like boom, resolution done.
Okay.
Easy. So the reason I'm wearing purple is because when they pop up into the sky, she doesn't really need her astronaut suit anymore, because she's back, well, in air right now, but like she's back on Earth, above water, and so she like takes it off, and then she's wearing this like purple bikini.
Okay. This is either real before the movie, or it's a Mandela. Mandela. Because I can see, if you would, again, I've only seen one episode of SpongeBob, but if you would have asked me what color is Sandy's swimsuit, I would have said purple. Like, I see it. I've seen it before.
I think maybe to me, since it was more like a crop top and then like a purple like skirt kind of thing going on.
Yeah.
She was giving Chipmunk. Like, she was giving Alvin and the Chipmunk vibes.
I was actually thinking in my head, maybe I'm just equating her to one of the Chipmunks.
Yes.
Because I was like, I can see that too.
Because I was kind of getting that. I will not lie, when that transition first happened, I was like, why? Since when is Sandy in like a bikini or like something?
But maybe? I feel like I've seen her. I can also see, maybe I've just seen way too many 1989 Taylor Swift era's outfits.
Maybe.
But like, I really feel like I can see Sandy with a purple bikini.
Sandy is a 1989 girlie through and through. She really is. She really is.
Even with her Country, Texas, 1989 is her favorite album.
It is.
Then she goes to debut.
Yes, of course. the cowboy boots, all of it.
Tim
She
McGraw.
actually goes in between. She doesn't know which one she loves more. And yes, we will either in every episode find a way to reference X-Files or Taylor Swift.
Every episode. We have
Every
to.
episode, just for you guys, because we know you asked for it.
And because we know Taylor's team is giving us Eras tickets, surely.
Don't call her Shirley, or she won't.
Oh, did it just start raining?
Oh my god.
Is the flight going to get canceled?
Oh, I hope they're not going to have an emergency landing.
You know, it's actually good for SpongeBob because he doesn't have to get sprayed anymore.
I know. He'll just have the rain. That would actually be perfect. They should land in New York, not Texas.
Exactly.
Well, actually, that's funny that you mentioned that, Gabby, because they do, in some ways, have to have an emergency landing. I don't know how we're going to film this. This is so stupid. Maybe we should just give up.
I kind of like it. Do y'all like it? I kind of like it.
Do you guys like being interrupted by thunderous applause?
That was perfect timing because they have to make an emergency landing and then it cracked. So I think it's adding humor.
Yeah.
I think it's fun.
We made it rain. This is a sound effect. They do because they are flying over Texas, and so they need to land at a certain point, but they can't just wait for the plane
Right.
to land. Because I think it's going to Houston, and they want to go to Galveston,
Okay.
Texas. Apparently, that's where this all takes place.
Is she going to make a parachute?
So it's funny because they have like the regular animation. So they have the animated SpongeBob and Sandy,
Right.
a real life airplane.
Okay.
And then when they lean over to look at the bottom where like the land is, it's just like a 2D map of America.
Stop it.
Which I
like
thought
a
was
Google map?
like kind of, but like a cartoon map.
Oh my god.
Like a grade school map. You're learning where the states are. And I think it was so cute.
That
so it
sounds
just says like Galveston, Texas, like with a big X
the
over
only
it.
city that matters, honestly.
It's great. It's not like animated. Like you don't see trees or anything like
Right.
that. It's just like a map.
Okay.
So she basically pushes SpongeBob off of the wing of the plane,
Okay.
and they start falling and everything. And then, did you know, Gabby? Did you know that apparently Sandy is not only a science squirrel living in the ocean, but that she is a flying squirrel?
I did not know that.
So this girl
Flying science squirrel.
opens up her arms and she's got the little wings. She's a flying squirrel. And even SpongeBob
Okay.
goes, "Wow, Sandy, I didn't know you were a flying squirrel."
I'm surprised this version of SpongeBob knows what a flying squirrel is.
Same.
So wait, SpongeBob doesn't have wings, so is he just holding on
He's
to Sandy?
holding on for dear life.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And we left all the other creatures in the no more existing Bikini Bottom.
They are all essentially captured by
Okay.
whatever that clothing is.
Got you.
Speaking of clothing, Sandy is trying to get to her science lab.
Mm-hmm.
She works for Boots, which stands for Bureau of Official Texas Science. BOOTS.
That sounds like a pretty official name.
Yes, it's a pretty official name. So she's trying to get to Boots so she can talk to her colleagues, which are humans, and figure out what's wrong. Because if anyone knows what's wrong, it'll be them.
Of course, they're a bureau and they're official. That's like
They're the official science of Texas.
they like there's no other.
There's no other.
Everyone else is just a scam.
Obviously. They're trying to land, and they see where the science center is. It's become a water park, though. So they're
Oh,
confused.
no.
So they're trying to land at this water park, and suddenly they get blown away.
By what?
A twister. A Texas twister.
Shut up.
It is so funny because they're in this twister, and it's literally like the Twisters movie. Like, you hear the cow moo, and then for some reason there's these three very Western cowboys, like, around, like, a fire pit, and they're just, like, eating, and they're just going, "Beans! Beans! Beans!" Don't know why.
That must be from something. Y'all let us know in the comments
I'm
if you,
pretty
if
sure-
you know what reference that
I'm
is.
pretty sure it's from an old SpongeBob
It's gotta be
episode,
from
because
something, that's
it
too
was
random.
eerily familiar, but my brain, I think, has locked it away. It's also funny because when they said they were going to Texas, SpongeBob changed into the shape of Texas, and he did that in an episode of SpongeBob, which is
Part of
an
me can see
iconic
that
meme.
Also, okay,
Yes.
maybe that's why. Cause it's a
Yes.
meme.
So there were different homages to the series
Okay.
and the show as a whole, especially like the earlier seasons, a bit.
Okay.
They land over 600 miles away.
Oh,
The Twister
darn.
blows them straight out of Galveston, way out in the
Straight
middle of
out
the
of
desert.
something. I mean, 600 miles.
She goes, looks like we're walking.
Oh, babe.
Oh,
No, I'm gonna need you to science your way out of this one again because you're not walking.
I know. While they're stuck in the desert, there is this evil corporation going on at Boots in the water park.
Oh, so it's
So-
like, shh, you know,
Yeah,
like
kind of.
we're gonna pretend to be a water park, but really we're like,
Shh, yeah.
yeah.
Well, it's the water park. The owner of the water park is trying to make money.
Mm-hmm.
So we get into this Nemo type scene where Bikini Bottom is in this big globe. It's filled with water, and then
Okay.
there's Bikini Bottom. So we see all the characters. Mr. Krabs was like kind of not Mr. Crabbing. Like he usually is like selfish and wants
Crab
money and
crabbing,
stuff.
yeah.
He seemed like a super scaredy cat.
I mean,
and
hierarchy of needs, man.
I
His
know,
life is
honestly.
in danger. Like,
Honestly.
what's capitalism when you're dying?
Squidward was not pessimistic enough.
Oh, yeah. Squidward should have been like, well, this is it.
Yeah.
Like,
Like,
it's over,
oh
folks.
no. Like he wasn't Squidward.
But you know what? Gary was Gary.
Gary was Garying.
He was meowing.
Yeah.
He was Gary.
He slithered on away. Like he did a
What
good
was
job.
Patrick doing?
There's a scene where Mr. Krabs is trying to figure out where they've ended up. What
Okay.
are they doing? So he's going out exploring the streets. Everything is scaring him.
Yeah.
So he sees Gary and he's like, "Go home, Gary." So Gary like slithers away kind of thing because he's like this snail. And then Patrick is there and scares him. And so Mr. Krabs says, "Why don't you be like Gary and go home too?" And so Patrick,
He does not get on his knees.
no, he like reshapes his belly to look like the bottom part of Gary and slithers away as well. Like he took it extremely literally. Yeah. It was odd. So they have no idea what's going on. There's the two human scientists are kind of like fishy. And they're like, why we don't really know why we had to get SpongeBob and Bikini Bottom. Like I'm very confused. And then in walks the bad guy.
Okay.
And the bad guy has this like weird I think she had like blue hair, I want to say, and there's like a pug that's in like this bedazzled handbag named Cuda, like Barracuda.
Okay.
Named Cuda, and the bad guy's like walking in this very like futuristic outfit kind of thing, these like cool kind of heels and everything. I look at the TV and I go, "It's Wanda Sykes."
Is it?
She was the bad guy.
What?
I don't know. It's like, what's Wanda Sykes doing?
It's like that. Ariana, what are you doing here?
It's like, I felt like that Leonardo DiCaprio freeze frame from Once Upon a Time in Hollywood where he's sitting back with a cigarette watching like the TV and he's just like, because that was me. I was like, Wanda?
Oh my gosh.
Anyway, she played a great bad guy
Oh,
for
okay.
for like a kid's show.
Mhm.
It took a long time for her to get in the backstory though of why Bikini Bottom,
Yeah.
why them, what are you doing? She runs the water park.
Okay. So, water park.
Water park. She wants to take SpongeBob and all of his friends. And somehow there's different phases. There's this one phase where they feed them like kind of like this fish food thing, but it like changes their genetic makeup or something, and then they put them in this tube of sorts and it like shakes them and then it clones them. And then it makes it so their clones are like really squishy and pullable, and basically they don't have to be in the water anymore. Because she wants to make it so you can play with fish, you can cuddle with fish. Her dream as a child was she would love sea creatures and fish, but you can't cuddle with them, so there's no market. Kids don't want to buy fish.
How crazy, because when I came in today, I told you it looks like you're feeding fish. She was putting something in a
jar,
plastic
yeah.
thing. And I was like, it looks like you're feeding fish. And she goes, oh, I would never get fish because you can't cuddle with
Can't
them.
cuddle with them.
This is not your villain origin story, is it?
It's not. I would not. I love
That's
Miss Wanda,
strange.
but no. She said,
Oh.
she wanted to make money off it. So she's like, you know, the fish market is dying of like people wanting to buy them as pets. But what if they could hug them? What if they could play with them? So they had a focus group of kids at one point that took Patrick and Mr. Krabs and Squidward, which were the test subjects, and like were pulling at them, shoving them in spaghetti, like pulling at them in.
Oh my gosh.
And everything.
This is so crazy.
But she doesn't have SpongeBob, and he is like the meal ticket.
But he's a sponge. You can already cuddle with a sponge. At least like a wet sponge.
I don't know.
Okay.
Let's go back to where Sandy and SpongeBob were. They're in the middle of the desert. They're walking around and they run into a bunch of rattlesnakes in cowboy hats and Western mustaches.
Why do I feel like I've seen this too?
It was fantastic. I actually think in the credits I think one of the snakes was voiced by Johnny Knoxville.
Oh, perfect.
It was pretty great. It was pretty great. So they're all like, hey, how's it going? And so Sandy turns into Karate Sandy, which she's done in the series.
I've seen that.
That like Kill Bill
before.
outfit,
Yes.
the yellow outfit. Yeah.
No, I don't know I don't know about that outfit, but I know the.
Yeah, she's like, hi, yeah. She basically gets bit by them, obviously.
Right.
Can't fight them off forever. So she blows up. So she's like, oh no. And they're like, ooh, yeah, now we have a snack. She does this very specific whistle, and then help is on the way. I thought it was going to be like an entire swarm of like squirrels in the desert or something. I don't know. But this car drives up, and they think that it's one of the snakes goes, oh, it's like a ghost jalopy, because it's like this beat up car. And then out comes this little squirrel, who I guess was driving like a human car, and it's like her family. It's like a little family of squirrels. Cute. So we've got Mom, who's packing. I don't know why they made a squirrel so voluptuous.
Oh, I thought you meant packing like with guns.
No, I just don't know how to.
She's packing.
She's just packing. I was like, okay, Sandy's mom, I see you, girl. And then Sandy's dad, brother, twins, siblings, and Granny. Mm-hmm. They all come out and save the day, and it's so funny. They start running off the snakes and beating them up and stuff. And at one point, one of the snakes is trying to run away, and he goes, "Don't tread on me."
Oh my gosh!
I don't know why they
threw
threw that in there. I was like, whoa. And then they ran over him with a car.
Oh my gosh!
It was kind of a strange scene. And then they ran over the snakes with a car to one point where the main snake, I guess, like, lost his skin. So he's, like, kind of, like, naked. So he's in, like, this, like, he finds, like, a shirt or a sock or something. And then he, like, scuttles away. I thought it was a weird scene, I'm not gonna lie. It was a bit odd, the snakes. And then fighting it. I can't lie, it was... Okay. But we get introduced to Sandy's family, and that's all that matters.
Okay.
We are learning so much about Sandy in this movie. Turns out her family is a bunch of circus squirrels.
In Texas?
In Texas. Good old Texas.
How did she become a scientist?
She's just said her love of science outweighed her
love of the circus
abilities to be the first water skiing squirrel.
Okay.
Her family really wants her to be back, so I thought this was going to be like a, do I go back to my family or do I help my friends kind of thing, like my found family. But her parents are so supportive.
Oh.
They're like, well, they're like, we're going to go to this circus. She goes, I need to get to Galveston instead. And they go, okay, sure, we'll get you there. And they start going. At one point, they're speeding. And so the brother, who's kind of like, seemed like a rebel type, because they're driving a real car. It's just each squirrel, like Granny Squirrel is in charge of the clutch, Brother Squirrel is in charge of the gas, and sometimes the brakes.
Because everything's still to scale. So they're still like small.
They're still small. They're still tiny. Dad is like somehow like on a trapeze, like trying to like steer the car and everything like that. It's great.
So I'm confused. They're still 600 miles away because that's even driving is still gonna take a hot minute.
I don't know. So at one point they're driving along and in the middle of nowhere, whatever, and a police car comes out of nowhere behind them and starts to be this police chase. And the brother's like, I've never been caught by them, because Sandy's like, we gotta pull over. I can't get arrested. She packs up SpongeBob like he's a suitcase. Like, she takes his arm, packs him up, like, pushes him in, and then, like, makes his arm into, like, the suitcase handle, and she's like, just make sure you drop me off as close to Galveston as you can. And the brother's like, I'm on it. So they start this car chase of sorts, and they're trying to outrun the police.
Who are humans.
I assume so. I think so.
Like, that's why they can't get
they
caught.
They just think it's a real car.
Driving.
They can't get... Yeah.
Yeah.
Because then they would go to squirrel jail.
Yeah.
It's wild.
Which is probably the circus.
I don't know. So then they see a twister again. Another one. And they purposely get caught.
Galveston, are y'all okay?
No. So they purposely get caught in this twister. And they think that getting caught and stuff, they think they fooled the cops. Because, like, the cops are, they kind of think they outran them. And then they look behind them, and the cop car is in his own twister.
Oh my gosh. Well, you don't want to get in a twister because you might be, like, taken to freaking New York at this rate.
Oh, no. And so then Sandy harnesses the twister so it, like, anchors and, like, stays in place.
Why didn't you do that the first time, babe?
I don't know. And then... So they think they won again. They're able to, like, kind of ditch the cops, and then they're back on the road, and then suddenly there's a helicopter, there's 20 cop cars, get out of the car, pull over, we have you surrounded. And so that's when
some, like, OJ level.
This is great.
Car chase.
It is in the middle of nowhere desert.
Oh my goodness.
Texas. So they're like, okay, Sandy, we gotta get you out of here. We can fend them off, but, like, this is our life, not yours. So they shove Sandy and SpongeBob into the cannonball machine thing.
You say that like that's so obvious.
Like in a circus.
That are in most cars.
They have all their circus equipment because they're tiny squirrels.
Yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Big real life cars.
Okay, so they put them in the cannonball. They roll the window down.
No, the top.
Oh, they're at the top of the car now.
The top of the car.
Okay.
Because it's a janky jalopy car, but it's got a sunroof apparently.
Sure.
Yeah. So they launch them out, and she flaps her wings open again.
She's a flying squirrel.
Yes, and this time they hooked her skis onto her feet before they.
Okay.
So they just so happen to fly and land in the water park again. This time, they get to the water park and they land in the swimming pool, and she, like, water skis.
Okay.
And she's like, woohoo, yay,
cute.
cool,
And SpongeBob's probably like...
SpongeBob's like, oh, thank God. Oh, water. But he was like, Sandy was loving it because she missed her family, but she saw how well SpongeBob was getting along with them, so she's like, my found family with my real family, and they're all kind of getting to know each other and getting along, and it was cute, and so she was like, I don't know who I want, like, do I want to go back to this, Bikini Bottom?
Or stay here in Texas.
Yeah,
because if I do remember, again, I've only seen one full episode, but, like, I've seen clips and stuff of SpongeBob, and if I remember, part of Sandy's character is she's homesick.
Yes, she was. So they are trying to find the lab, and I thought it was kind of funny, but, like, also really stupid. She has this little device, and all it does is it looks at a building and it says, not the lab. Another building, not the lab, and it's just water park rides. I'm like, you can't just, like, look with your own eyes and be like, the building over there that says Boots, that's the lab. Like, and there's this dog, Barracuda, the pug.
Wanda's dog.
Yes, Wanda's dog, the evil lady. Sees SpongeBob, and SpongeBob is like, we don't have those in Bikini Bottom, because it starts chasing them.
Fam.
And it's so funny because at one point, Sandy goes, oh, sure, a dog chasing a squirrel, how cliche. It's like the dog is, like, running after the squirrel.
So, is it, like, a big dog, or is it, like...
It's a pug.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
Yeah. It's a little menacing pug.
So is SpongeBob also running from this dog?
Yeah, they're both running together.
Trauma.
They outrun him.
Trauma.
Yeah, they outrun him. They end up getting to the lab.
Good.
She finds her two human co-workers, apparently, or used to be co-workers, and they're like, what did you do? Why'd you give to the bad side? And it's these two, like, really not all there scientist sidekicks, and so the guy's just like, oh, well, the evil lady promised a vending machine. And they say, yeah, and if we were able to get SpongeBob, she would fill it with stuff. Like, eventually, it all comes to a head in the science lab. Sandy kind of puts together what's about to go on. Wanda tells her whole sob story of why, like, she just wanted to pet a fish. She just wants,
I just can't.
like, it's
Oh my God.
very strange.
That's so
And so it turns out, she said she loved the water, she loved fishing, and then what threw me off, Gabby, was that she's telling her story, and then she goes, and then the ocean took my earthly body, or something like that, and I was like, what? And then she rips off her clothes, and she's a robot, and then it's just her regular head.
She attached herself to a robot?
I guess. Like, literally in the flashbacks when she was talking about being a little girl, instead of being a real little girl, it was a little girl's body and Wanda Sykes' head. Like George Lopez. You remember, like, when they used to do flashbacks on the George Lopez show?
Yeah.
And it would just be grown George Lopez's head
on,
like, a little kid's body. This is what the flashback was.
No.
It was just Wanda Sykes' head, and then, like, a little girl's body in an aquarium, going a little girl's body going to sleep.
Oh my God.
So it turns out she was, like, a robot, which I didn't think was necessary. And then it was just her head. And so she locks Sandy away. They have to try to, like, fight her and everything. She's trying to save Bikini Bottom, and they're just, like, helpless. And the tank cracked, so they're running out of water.
Oh no.
And so she uses science. I don't know how, but she uses science somehow to be able to, like, defeat her in a way. Basically, she disconnects the robot's body from her head, and the head goes flying into this giant fish's mouth that she had as a pet as well.
This seems kind of
But instead of swallowing her, it gets better, Gabby. Instead of swallowing her, her head is sticking out of the fish's mouth, and she goes, "Oh my God, how did this work? I'm a fish. I'm finally a fish. That's all I wanted to be in life was a fish." And then she's, like, gone. She's happy. Her head gets on a fish body.
Unless she wanted to cuddle a fish, not be a fish. You're a fish, I'm a fish. Huh? That's so weird. I'm still trying to picture, like, a floating head.
Yeah, the evil plot line did not make sense to me, personally, of, like, why she wanted SpongeBob and Bikini Bottom. And so she said that the only reason she knew about SpongeBob and about them was because Sandy had been there recording them and studying them and reporting it back, the findings. But I'm like, why didn't you just go to the store and get some fish and then...
Yeah.
I don't know.
Honestly,
it's
it's always kid math. Like, the villains in kid movies are always so unserious. You're just like, what are you talking about?
And let me tell you, she was unserious. You did a great job, Miss Wanda, but it was giving Woody the Woodpecker. You know how hard that was for me to watch animated characters interacting with live people. Which is so funny that they even
had a villain in that movie, because Woody was an antagonist already.
Yes. So she did a great job at pretending like she was talking to an animated squirrel. I'll give her that. But the whole plot line of why there was, like, the evilness, it needed another
one more like workshop.
One more workshop. Yeah. One more workshop for another year, kind of thing. Wanda Sykes is gone being a happy little fish, right? But the tank that Bikini Bottom is leaking. She's like,
just when you think it's over, it's never over.
How do we get them out of here? The scientists are of no help because they're kind of...
How did these boys get hired?
I don't know.
They're giving you Texan scientists a bad rap, and now Diane doesn't even believe in you fools anymore.
I'm sorry.
She doesn't even think that y'all exist.
Literally, instead of, like, lab coats, they had, like, bejeweled, like, jackets kind of thing, and, like, they had, like, white hat, like, cowboy hats, and, like, white boots, and that was, like, their lab coat kind of attire. Gosh. It was kind of funny, but really...
I should apply there.
Yeah. I think they've got openings.
I'm sure they do. Sounds like a sick uniform.
It does. Pays bad.
Oh, yeah. Pays bad. I bet.
They didn't even fill the vending machine, so.
Oh.
Yeah. Sandy does her little math thing, her little science stuff, if I do this and this and this. So she, this time, SpongeBob, which kind of shows like they've all melded into one big family, SpongeBob learned the family whistle. So he does the big whistle.
Is it like...
No, it's like he has to wrap his fingers around each other to, like, make, like, a twirliness and then stick them all the way in his mouth, and then it's, like, a very specific whistle.
Okay.
I don't really know how to whistle, so I can't emulate it at all. I'm not even gonna try.
You can just be like, ooh, ooh.
Something like that. Anyway, I digress. The family shows up rather quickly, might I say. I don't know if they
they got a fast car. And twisters.
They got to take it anywhere.
I bet it was a twister.
I bet it was a twister. Mm-hmm. So she has her family. They get into like this like hamster wheel of sorts. She gets her family and the people of Bikini Bottom to like run or like help charge this energy source thing, and it basically catapults them back. It catapults them out of the building, like it launches them out of the building.
Okay.
I don't know how. Don't ask me. I don't know. I blanked out after that. After Wanda Sykes became a fish, I kind of clocked out.
I would have too. I'd have been like,
I said this is the robot body threw me off, and then when she became a fish, I tapped out. But they went too hard, too fast, so they ended up in space. And so she's like, okay, now we need to stop and come back down. Or so they did. They went, ooh. And mind you, Bikini Bottom is nowhere near Texas, obviously, because water, like, it's in the middle of, like, the ocean somewhere. Like, their flight was 12 hours long on the way when they left Bikini Bottom. So they have to, like, it just so happens to land. They're like, oh, hey, look, I see Bikini Bottom, which is, like, you see the classic, like, tiny island that's in, like, the opening credits of SpongeBob. They launch themselves back down, and they end up right back where they belong. And Plankton's like, no, like, I kind of wanted the day to end badly. Plankton showed up for, like, half a second. His computer bugged me, though, because his computer was not, Karen was not the same as the computer in the series. Like, the voice was totally different, and she was just mean rather than nobody likes you. Like,
I feel like nobody likes you is mean.
I know, but she was like a different kind of mean vibe, like.
So, did Plankton want the world to end?
I think he really liked Wanda's idea of, like,
he wanted to be
cloning
cuddle.
and mass creation. And also, nobody selected him. He was like, take me! And then he was like, why won't you take me? And the computer is like, because nobody likes you.
He's touch deprived.
Yeah,
he needs a
really
hug.
Is. He wants to be cloned.
Yeah, he just wants love.
He just wants to take over the world.
He just, for love.
For love.
No,
right,
not for power or greed, really.
Of course. The day is saved. Danger diverted. This took maybe like 2 days total. They really came, saw, conquered. Time goes by a little bit, and there's a circus in Bikini Bottom. So she has her family come and do the circus, big acts and stuff. It didn't quite track for me, but for somehow the two human scientists, Sandy through science was able to like shrink them, and so they also had little astronaut suits on, and they're like, good thing she was able to shrink us or something because they were there for the circus.
I would have let those boys go.
They could have just zoomed in. They didn't. Could have just FaceTimed.
I can't.
I didn't. That part was weird and didn't track super well.
Were they in the circus, or were they just
they were watching. They were there for the show.
That's that's a real friendship, Like, I will be Wonka visioned for you.
They were
like,
yeah, and they were like at the bottom of the ocean.
That is wild.
I don't know. I still don't know how Wanda was able to like dig down into the bottom of the ocean to find them. They have the circus and everything. Everyone's having fun, and then they have the ending number essentially, which is like this big musical number about I'm from Texas, but I love Bikini Bottom. Do 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 do. And everyone joins in, which is cute. And that's kind of the end of the movie.
She gets best of both
worlds. Like, does she really need to save Bikini Bottom? I don't know. I still, it was a movie without much plot. They did have a couple of funny mentions of the movie, like referencing the show, but was it a good movie on its own?
Okay, all right.
And then,
but this is coming from someone who didn't,
sure,
you're not super into the SpongeBob
True,
to begin with.
But I feel like I would feel worse for people that actually are, because I could tell, like, this wasn't really SpongeBob. Like, it didn't fit the multiverse of SpongeBob. The end credits was also interesting because, that everybody knows the theme song of SpongeBob, like, who lives in a pineapple under the sea. They kept the tune, but they recreated all the lyrics to be, like, about Sandy.
Okay.
So it was like Sandy got her own theme song, but it was the SpongeBob
Sandy.
theme sound.
Chicks. That doesn't even make sense.
Yeah.
Mm.
It was interesting.
Okay.
It's like, who was from Texas and loves science? Sandy, something like that. I can't remember. And by the end of the movie, I was like, oh, thank God. I can't.
Okay, so not your favorite children's movie of the summer.
No, it was actually probably my least favorite.
Oh no.
I Netflix gave it a good try, but I don't see why the movie needed to be made.
Money.
I don't know how it's... I don't see it making a lot of money. Watch it be like number 1 on Netflix.
Should we? I mean, I want to look it up.
We'll look it up later.
We'll figure it out. We'll put it in the comments.
It probably is. If your kid loves SpongeBob, throw it on.
Throw it on.
If you loved SpongeBob and you grew up watching it or you love it, don't watch it.
Throw on regular SpongeBob.
Yeah, watch regular SpongeBob. Your kid might love it. There was just a couple like the plot points weird.
Yeah.
Some of the animation was just like weird to
Yeah.
me. Like I was like, oh, I just don't like the way Mr. Krabs looks.
Nothing jarringly like inappropriate or anything.
Besides the snakes being like, don't tread on me.
Yeah.
As they were getting run over.
Oh my god.
There wasn't. I mean, not a whole lot going on.
Okay, cool.
It was weird. I can't even say it was like family fun or wholesome. It was just weird.
Yeah.
Even though it wasn't the best movie in my humble opinion, I still think it was a pretty good vacation.
Oh, okay. Well, you're ready to head back.
Yeah, I was kind of ready for it to end.
Yeah. Well, the 2:47.
I think I got sunburned.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Well, you know, it is getting a little dry out here in the desert.
Yeah.
So if you want, the 247 plane is going to be flying above us like in 3 minutes.
Yeah. Think we can parachute back down to New York?
Yeah, I think we
Okay.
can catch it.
Okay.
So
Now, if SpongeBob ever wants to come save New York,
we need it.
I'm here for that.
I mean, SpongeBob can't save New York. We need Sandy's science.
You know what?
Sandy.
I think if anyone can save New York, it's Patrick Star.
You know what? Patrick?
Actually, no, Mr. Krabs. I feel like he would be elite. Like, finance guys couldn't compete with Mr. Krabs.
He would get so distracted
He
by
would want
like,
the money.
Yes.
Mhm.
And he's like...
I could see him fitting in really well in New York.
He was going to get on the megaphone and be like, I'm looking for a guy in finance.
I could see, like, Sandy, like, not knowing what to do. SpongeBob would probably get lost or mugged. And then Patrick would be the star because he would just say one stupid thing or be in the park and somebody comes up to him doing, like, an Instagram video or something, and then he would go viral, and then he'd become famous, and then he would have, like, a high-rise in Brooklyn or something, and he doesn't even know how he got there.
Yeah. I think Patrick would take it. Because even Plankton, his energy, like, they would squash him.
They would squash. He couldn't cut it.
Oh, yeah. And Gary would just end up being someone's pet. And Squidward...
Gary would be on Broadway.
Gary would be on Broadway. Squidward could make it, I think.
Squidward could make it.
You would make it. I mean, he would be, like, you know, living in, like, Brooklyn.
He would be deep.
By himself.
Yeah.
And, like, not really, like, going out much. But he would make it.
He would be deep. And then he would be kind of, like, adopted by a family that doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
Or
they, like, give him food.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like, he has, like, those are his neighbors.
Those are his neighbors, yeah.
And he, like, acts like he's really annoyed whenever they knock on the door and, like, give him food.
And they're always like, you're so talented with your clarinet playing.
Yeah.
You know, you should make something of it. And he's just like, leave me alone.
Yeah, he's really upset because Gary hasn't given him...
He would be like a super.
Oh
or like a landlord.
He would be a super, but, like, one that doesn't want to be bothered.
Yeah.
Like, I don't care that your freaking sink is broken. It's New York. Like, get over it.
He would be a super. He would be a good super.
But no one's saving the city.
No.
No. They're all just gonna... It's fine. We'll tough it out. We'll rough it out here on our own.
Yeah, Netflix writers and SpongeBob creators, we've got ideas, as always. Hit us up on Watch Like a Kid. We're here every week. Unless we go on vacation again. You know what? I'm ready to go back to a TV show. I think I'm movied out.
I think we need a TV. We have done so many blockbusters and so many movies. We gotta go back to our roots. Our roots was to watch TV shows. Mm-hmm. And so, I agree. Next week, we'll get a show. We'll do a show.
Let us know what show you want us to watch. If you have any. I'm thinking of going back to being a teen.
Oh, watch like a teen? It's been a while.
Little Easter egg for you guys. Until then. F is for friends who do stuff together.
U is for you and me.
N is for anywhere, anytime at all, down here in the deep blue sea. Da-da-da.
That's not a unicorn. That's just a pony with pink hair.